everything, looks into everybody's eyes and licks herself, in like manner did Liebel, poor thing, go round and round the cupboard. He gazed in through the glass door, smiled at the box containing the citron, until his mother saw him, and said to his father that the young scamp wanted to get hold of the citron to bite off its top. "Techeira, you blackguard! May you never be thought of, you scamp!" Lebel bent his head, lowered his eyes, and went off to Cheder. The few words his mother had said to his father about his biting off the top of the citron burned themselves into Lebel's heart and ate into his bones like a deadly poison. The top of the citron buried itself in Lebel's brains. It did not leave his thoughts for a moment. It entered his dreams at night, worried him, and almost dragged him by the hand. "You do not recognize me, foolish boy? It is I, the top of the citron." Lebel turned round on the other side, groaned, and went to sleep. It worried him again. "Get up, fool! Go and open the cupboard, take out the citron and bite me off. You will enjoy yourself." Lebel got up in the morning, washed his hands, and began to say his prayers. He took his breakfast and was going off to Cheder. Passing by, he glanced in the direction of the glass cupboard. Through the glass door he saw the box containing the citron, and he imagined the box was winking at him. Over here, little boy." Lebel marched straight out of the house. One morning, when Lebel got up, he found himself alone in the house. His father had gone off to business, his mother had gone to the market. The servant was busy in the kitchen. "Everyone is gone. There isn't a soul in the house," thought Lebel. Passing by, he again looked inside the glass cupboard. He saw the sugar box that held the citron. It seemed to be beckoning to him. Over here, little boy." Lebel opened the glass door softly and carefully, and took out the box, the beautiful, round, carved, decorated wooden box, and raised the lid. Before he had time to lift out the citron, the fragrance of it filled his nostrils, the pungent, heavenly odour. Before he had time to turn around, the citron was in his hand, and the top of it in his eyes. "Do you want to enjoy yourself? Do you want to know the taste of paradise? Take and bite me off. Do not be afraid, little fool. No one will know of it. Not a son of Adam will see you. No bird will tell on you." You want to know what happened? You want to know whether I bit the top off the citron, or held myself back from doing it? I should like to know what you would have done in my place if you had been told 10 times not to dare to bite the top off the citron. Would you not have wanted to know what it tasted like? Would you not also have thought of the plan to bite it off and stick it on again with spittle? You may believe me or not, that is your affair, but I do not know myself how it happened. Before the citron was rightly in my hands, the top of it was between my teeth. The day before the festival, father came home a little earlier from his work to untie the palm branch. He had put it away very carefully in a corner, warning Lebel not to attempt to go near it. But it was useless warning him. Lebel had his own troubles. The top of the citron haunted him. Why had he wanted to bite it off? What good had it done him to taste it when it was bitter as gall? It was for nothing he had spoiled the citron and rendered it unfit for use. That the citron could not now be used, Lebel knew very well. Then what had he done this for? Why had he spoiled this beautiful creation, bitten off its head and taken its life? Why? Why? He dreamt of the citron that night. It haunted him and asked him, "Why have you done this thing to me? Why did you bite off my head? I am now useless, useless." Lebel turned over on the other side, groaned and fell asleep again. But he was again questioned by the Citron. "Murderer, what have you against me? What had my head done to you?" The first day of the Feast of Tabernacles arrived. After a frosty night the sun rose and covered the earth with a delayed warmth like that of a stepmother. That morning Moshe Yankel got up earlier than usual to learn off by heart the festival prayers, reciting them in the beautiful festival melody. That day also Bassi Bela was very busy cooking the fish and the other festival dishes. That day also Zalman the carpenter came to our tabernacle to make a blessing over the citron and palm before anyone else, so that he might be able to drink tea with milk and enjoy the festival. "Zalman wants the palm and the citron," said my mother to my father. "Open the cupboard and take out the box, but carefully," said my father. He himself stood on a chair and took down from the top shelf the palm and brought it to the tabernacle to the carpenter. "Here, make the blessing," he said, "but be careful, in heaven's name, be careful." Our neighbour Zalman was a giant of a man, may no evil eye harm him. He had 2 hands, each finger of which might knock down 3 such Liebels as I. His hands were always sticky and his nails red from glue, and when he drew one of these nails across a piece of wood there was a mark that might have been made with a sharp piece of iron. In honour of the festival Zalman had put on a clean shirt and a new coat. He had scrubbed his hands in the bath with soap and sand, but had not succeeded in making them clean. They were still sticky and the nails still red with glue. Into these hands fell the dainty citron. It was not for nothing Moshe Yankel was excited when Zalman gave the citron a good squeeze and the palm a good shake. "Be careful, be careful," he cried. "Now turn the citron head downwards and make the blessing. Carefully, carefully, for heaven's sake, be careful." Suddenly Moshe Yankel threw himself forward and cried out, "Oh!" The cry brought his wife, Bassi Bela, running into the tabernacle. "What is it, Moshe Yankel, God be with you?" "Coarse, blackguard, man of the earth!" he shouted at the carpenter, and was ready to kill him. "How could you be such a coarse blackguard, such a man of the earth? Is a citron an axe, or is it a saw, or a boar? A citron is neither an axe, nor a saw, nor a boar. You have cut my throat without a knife. You have spoiled my citron. Here is the top of it. Here, see, coarse blackguard, man of the earth." We were all paralysed on the instant. Zalman was like a dead man. He could not understand how this misfortune had happened to him. How had the top come off the citron? Surely he held it very lightly, only just with the tips of his fingers. It was a misfortune, a terrible misfortune. Bassi Bela was pale as death. She wrung her hands and moaned. When a man is unfortunate he may as well bury himself alive and fresh and well right in the earth. And Liebel? Liebel did not know whether he should dance with joy because the Lord had performed a miracle for him, released him from all the trouble he had got himself into, or whether he should cry for his father's agony and his mother's tears, or whether he should kiss Zalman's thick hands with the sticky fingers and the red nails, because he was his Redeemer, his good angel. Liebel looked at his father's face and his mother's tears, the carpenter's hands, and at the citron that lay on the table, yellow as wax, without a head, without a spark of life, a dead thing, a corpse. "A dead citron," said my father in a broken voice. "A dead citron," repeated my mother, the tears gushing from her eyes. "A dead citron," echoed the carpenter, looking at his hands. He seemed to be saying to himself, "There's a pair of hands for you, may they wither." "A dead citron," said Liebel in a joyful voice. But he caught himself up, fearing his tones might proclaim that he, Liebel, was the murderer, the slaughterer, of the